How close do those jets get to the Air Moria planes?
We targeted the phenomenon of the exhaust from a jet engine, a phenomenon called jet blast.
Jet blast is the powerful exhaust expelled from jet engines. The hurricane force winds can reach speeds over 160 kilometers per hour.
A plane at full power, a plane like an Airbus or like a Boeing, whose power can flip a plane a few dozen feet behind it. It's a phenomenal force.
Phénoménal.
Investigators study the layout of Tahiti's airport. They need to know if the Air Moria planes could have been damaged by jet blast.
Okay. The Air Moria Twin Otters are parked here.
They learn that Air Moria parks its planes very close to a taxiway used by powerful jets. Airports routinely set up jet blast barriers to protect planes from the dangerous force. There should be barriers to protect the Twin Otters at Tahiti's airport, but they've been removed.
Now look at this.
It's an important discovery.
The jets, they back out here.
These barriers were removed to make it easier to go from one parking lot to another. There was no longer this physical barrier to protect the Twin Otter planes.
The
Airbus or Boeing jets were found, let's say, about 50 meters away from Air Moria's parking. Very close.
The Air Moria planes are parked right in the path of the jet blast.
This plane had been parked in an area that was prone to receiving blasts from the large carriers during their departure. We therefore arrived at this hypothesis, that there was a very high probability that the cable was weakened by jet blast.
Alain Bouillard learns that Air Moria's planes are especially vulnerable to jet blast because of an airline policy designed to prevent accidents. The Twin Otters are parked with the elevators locked in a nose-down position. It makes it impossible to get off the ground with the elevators locked.
It was locked by a device that stopped the cables from moving and prevented the elevator from moving.
But the nose-down position likely increased the damaging effects of the jet blast. Investigators suspect that, like a sail in the wind, the tilted elevators caught the full force of the blast, putting extra strain on the locked pitch-up cable.
If the controls are locked, it pulls and transfers this energy directly to the cable.
They now wonder if the force of the jet blast is enough to break a worn cable even further. Another cable test provides the answer.
There was a cable worn down by 50%, a cable that was still able to resist a hefty amount of strain, and then a jet blast phenomenon left the cable so fragile that it only had one or two strands left intact.
Rather than tearing the cable completely apart, the jet blast left a few strands of wire, just enough for Flight 1121 to take off, but not enough to survive the rigors of a 7-minute flight.
They were hanging by a thread.
If the jet blast had severed the cable completely, Captain Santoren would not have been able to get his plane off the ground. But once airborne, Captain Santoren and his 19 passengers are one thin strand of wire away from disaster. Investigators reproduce the forces created as the pilot adjusts his controls. Captain Santoren reaches 400 feet and retracts his flaps, causing his Twin Otter to pitch down slightly. He adjusts his elevator to pitch back up. It's enough to snap the final strand of the worn and damaged cable.
He didn't have a chance.
We determined that the force needed to correct the pitch of the plane was strong enough to break the last strand.
C'est le dernier toron.
There was nothing the pilot could do to save his plane and his 19 passengers.
You can imagine his reaction. What's going on? The cable broke. The control column came back, and by the time you analyze what happened, the plane drops very quickly, and a few seconds later, you've hit the Earth.
La planète.
The Air Morea accident killed 20 people and forever changed the lives of the victims' families. Bouillard and his team leave French Polynesia, determined to make it safer to fly on Twin Otters.
Une première recommandation faisait état de...
The first recommendation was an urgent request to check the cables on all planes equipped with stainless steel cables.
Today, there are tougher maintenance and inspection standards around the world for stainless steel control cables.
The main lesson from this investigation, yes, is the risk of jet blast at airports.
The Air Morea disaster raised awareness throughout the industry of the vital safety role played by jet blast barriers, especially at airports that handle both large jets and small commuter planes. Eric Lemar hopes it will be enough to stop such an accident from happening again.
J'ose espérer. Sinon, à quoi ça sert?
I dare to hope. If not, what purpose did this accident serve? To have 19 passengers die and have the same thing happen again without learning anything? It would be a shame.
C'est dommage.